iGaming SEO is tough, and if you just landed a casino client or building a casino brand, well, good luck. Because major digital platforms like TikTok and Google have zero tolerance policy to gambling advertisements, making major operators lose over $2 billion in advertising reach. So your iGaming marketing is hopeless if you keep playing the same game as everyone else. Pun intended. So if you're done with PBNs, blocked ad accounts, and penalized websites, then we got you. Just recently, we changed our SEO strategy to one of our casino clients, and their organic visitors went from 5,000 to over 30,000 monthly visitors. That's over 400% growth. And how did we do that? Well, it wasn't social media marketing, it wasn't paid ads, it wasn't black hat SEO. It was just good old digital PR. Now, before you click off and stop this video because digital PR is just press releases, stop it. Because this campaign was way more calculated than that. And here is how you can do this exact campaign in just 4 steps. So step number 1 is to choose the right topic. And frankly, this is where most campaigns fail because the instinct when you're working with casino brands is to pitch gambling related content. But that's wrong. That's literally when your journalist will ghost you harder than your Tinder date, or worse, block you. So this is when we flipped the approach entirely. Instead of asking what story would resonate with the brand, we started to ask what stories would journalists actually want to publish right now? And the answer is almost always data. And these data isn't just anything you can Google. It has to be original, or it has to be trendy and tied to a cultural event. And the angle we landed on was actually related to pop culture. And if you're a Marvel fan, you might know this, is Avengers Doomsday. It's coming up soon at the end of the year. And for this digital PR campaign, the data study had this exact headline: which US states are the most hyped about the upcoming Avengers Doomsday movie? As you see, this topic has nothing to do with gambling. It was completely intentional, and we completed this data study and featured our client as an expert source. So step number 2 is to do proper research. Now that you know the topic, the next thing is to conduct keyword research. We pulled the search volume from Google Keyword Planner for the main keyword Avengers Doomsday and every related variation across all 50 states. Then we had to normalize it by population because that's how you refine your data and make it more accurate. So in this case, per 100,000 residents was the metric that editors were willing to trust and good enough to publish. Once you run this data analysis, the results should look like this. To make their life easier and more exciting in this case is we localize their content. So which means we build a California version, a Texas version, and a Nevada version. So each local journalist received what their state was at in this data study. So at the end of the day, all journalists feel like these data studies were done for their specific market. Step 3 is packaging. Look, no one likes to receive a gift in a plastic bag. The same way no one likes to read a 40-page research in a single email. So that's why once we finished our data study, our outreach team will send these emails using a simple infographic and a very concise paragraph summarizing the data. And if you want to see real examples of outreach emails, make sure you grab a copy of our Digital PR Unfiltered book where we showed exactly our outreach strategy and our data studies. Anyway, back to the video. Look, the point is once you are done with your marvelous digital PR study, make sure that you package it in a way that journalists want to read it really quickly and they understand the value of that data study that will interest them and their articles. Number 4, distribution. Look, at this point, you've got a great data study, great packaging, but many campaigns fail at this point, not because the campaign was bad, but because their outreach strategy was lazy. Because you cannot expect any miracles from one email campaign. In fact, for this data study alone, we reached out to 5,000 journalists in national, international, and entertainment niches. And we made sure that every single email outreach campaign had a strategic follow-up too. And when editors came back with more information, we were really prompt to respond because that level of responsiveness is what's going to set you apart from other people. Because at the end of the day, journalists are really busy and your job is to make these journalists' life a lot easier and feature your brand as an expert source. So these were the 4 magic steps. Let us know how it went. But for this exact campaign, the results speak for themselves. In month 1, the client had 5,647 organic visitors, and by month 3, it went up to 30,000 and 22 monthly visitors. And as you see, this campaign had no gambling risk and no compliance problems either. It was just a story that was trendy and it was interesting for journalists to feature in their local and international articles. That is why one successful digital PR campaign can do more than 200 guest posts or directory submissions. Here's the biggest takeaway though. iGaming brands aren't stuck because their product or their service isn't good enough. It's stuck because they are following strategies that were not built for them. And digital PR step aside all of this. With digital PR, you create something worth covering, worth talking about, and it puts the brand as a positive light and as an expert source. And by following this strategy, the authority of the brands will compound over time. And by the way, if you want this campaign done for you, make sure you check out our free strategy call in the link below. And if you want to do it yourself, make sure you grab a copy of our Digital PR Unfiltered, where we break down exactly how we've done multiple digital PR campaigns, not just for iGaming brands, but for others too. Well, if you found this video helpful, make sure you click the like button and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.